Hey, good morning. It's Craig, the Natural Medic. Welcome to another breakfast with the Natural Medic. I'm having a little coffee. Do you love that cup? And today we're going to talk about 4 things to know before you go backpacking. Regardless if you're a new backpacker or you're a intermediate or seasoned, my hope is with this particular video today that you can pick up some tips and tricks that will help you. So let's get started. The first tip and trick I have for you is to buy the lightest gear that you can afford. When you're out there backpacking, of course, you are going to be carrying all this stuff on your back. I switched to this, and by the way, I have product links to all these if you want to check them out yourself down in the description below. And I bought this quilt at the end of last year. I've had it for about a year now. Really have enjoyed it. Don't have to get this particular bag or quilt. I have a full review on it that I'll link in the description below if you want more about it. The Featherstone Moondance quilt, it's an inexpensive quilt. It's good to freezing and probably a little bit below, which is perfect for here in Texas where I am. We just had a storm roll through yesterday, but the trail I'm going to in just a little bit after I record this should be well drained. It should be good, but the temperature did drop to the mid 40s right now, and probably will hit that again tonight. So this will be more than adequate for that. And it only weighs 2 pounds because it is a down quilt. The tent I'm going to take is not an expensive tent, but it's a trekking pole tent. It's the Trekker 2.2 from River Country Products. This tent, it weighs in at about 3 pounds. It's a 2-person tent. It's plenty long and plenty roomy. It's a trekking pole tent. I've never used a trekking pole tent prior to this one. It comes in at under $70 as of this recording. And the nice thing about it is it's roomy and it's light and it's super easy to set up. Now, prior to the end of last year, I had a different pack. I was working with a Lafuma pack, and that Lafuma pack, probably a lot of y'all haven't heard of that brand. It's a French brand that REI used to sell about 15 years ago. Oh, it's about a 15-year-old pack, somewhere around there. I switched though to this REI Flash 55, and I have a full review about it. This particular pack has a lot of good features, and the main thing about it is it's about a pound and a half lighter than my Lafuma pack, which weighed in empty at almost 4 pounds. This one weighs in between 2.25 and 2.5. I forget the exact measurement, but it's got a lot of functionality, and I've got a full review that I'll link below. Because remember, y'all, when you're carrying stuff for backpacking, whether you're going on a relatively flat trail, which I'll be going on here in Texas, it's got a little bit of rolling topography to it around Lake Texoma, or you're going to something a little more challenging like the mountains of Arkansas or the Colorado Rockies or something like that. All that weight is on your back. So you want a comfortable pack, in addition to comfortable sleeping bag, tent, whatever you decide to put in that to make it easy on yourself. So that's point number one. Buy the lightest gear that you can afford. Generally speaking, the more money you put into something, the lighter it is. Now, also make sure that it's functional to you. For example, your pack needs to fit your body the right way to make yourself the most comfortable that you can and carry whatever you're going to put in it adequately. Okay. The second thing I would say, being a paramedic and being a park ranger prior to being a paramedic, I would say is emergency preparedness and safety. So make sure that you're carrying a first aid kit. This is the one that I carry. I will link in the description below to the video where I talk about that in more detail. But this particular kit, it's available most places. I got this one, I believe, either Amazon or Academy. And it has all the basic needs for a 1-person trip or even a 2-person trip, as it does say on here. It does say 1 person, and then it says 1 to 2 days. So for most of us, a kit like this is probably going to be more than adequate for our needs. But in addition to having your first aid kit, you need to get some first aid training as soon as you can. Wilderness first aid is a good one, but at the very least, first aid CPR, because you never know what could happen out there in the wilderness when you're out there backpacking. Second part of being prepared for emergencies is this right here, totally optional. There's a lot of devices out there. I prefer the Garmin devices. This is the Garmin Mini or InReach Mini, the first version. I bought this version right before the second version came out. Didn't even know the second version was coming out. But hey, this is a lightweight device. A lot of places that we backpack do not have reliable cell service. So if you're going to try to call 911 if you had an emergency, or you're going to try to get a hold of a loved one, it's probably not going to work very well. So I did a full review of this. I'll link that below. But I chose this one. There's other devices out there, the Spot X, I can't really think of the other one right now, but there's several different ones out there. This is the one that I chose, and I'll link a description in the description below, why I chose that and my full review of it. So you can get more in detail on that if you want to. Be prepared for emergencies. I have a little bag that I just keep most everything besides my first aid kit. In here, I go more in detail on that in another video where I talk about the 10 essentials. And it's got everything in there except for my first aid kit and my rainwear. Because rainwear is another part. We just had a big rainstorm come through last night. I just picked up this from Frog Talk. It's Frog Talk's rain jacket. Very lightweight, lighter than my one that I did have. But you can also do this poncho. This is just an emergency poncho from Frog Talk. I got it at Walmart for, I don't know, $5. But I always stick rainwear in there because rainwear can also double as an emergency shelter if you have a poncho in this case, and also adds warmth and layering and stuff like that. But more details about that in my 10 Essentials video if you want to check that out. Okay. And then the next point I want to bring up is you need to know on your route, where can you collect water? Is there water available? On this particular trip I'm going on Lake Texoma here in North Texas, and I can just walk down to the lake and collect water. I use a CNOC bag. Primarily, this is a 2-liter one. Collect the water, and I attach my Sawyer Mini on it. I know I have a Sawyer Mini. Don't hate me because I don't have the squeeze, but that's just the one that I have. And then as a backup, in case that one messes up, because there's a lot of empty water in Lake Texoma because it is fed from the Red River, and it has Red River in its name for a reason. I have a backup of the Be Free from Catadine, and I have the Hydra Pack 2-liter Seeker bottle here as a backup. So I have both of those to make sure that I have all of my water needs taken care of. Now, some other places you might have to carry your water. If you're living in a desert environment, or you're going to backpack in a desert environment like Big Bend, southern New Mexico, southern Arizona, your water situation might be different. You might have to carry a lot of your water. So you might have to do something a little bit different. But definitely have some kind of filtering system with you so you can obtain more water, whether you're packing or even day hiking, because you never know when you might need more water. Food situation. I've got some food left over from my last trip when I went up to Arkansas, and I'm not going to go into detail what's in here, but just think about what things you'd like to eat. When you go backpacking, this is not the time to try brand new foods because it could upset your old tum-tum, and you could be out there squatting in the woods more than you would like. So just keep that in mind. Now, the last part is to know your route. And I printed out a map. This particular place that I'm going to is the Cross Timbers Trail on Lake Texoma. It's on the Texas side. So I have a map of it. This is the only map that I know of you can get. But I believe it does show up also on All Trails and maybe the Hiking Project. But wherever you are going, make sure that you know how to get there, and more importantly, how to get back out if it's a point-to-point trail. Now, if it's a loop trail, you still need to know where you're going, but you need to know how to follow that loop all the way around to come back to your starting point. I like to carry a paper map myself, and sometimes that's very helpful. And typically would use a electronic map on my phone, depending on where I'm going and what trail is available on my device. Anyway, so that was 4 quick tips about how to maybe improve your backpacking, or to know before backpacking if you're a brand new backpacker. If those helped, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have a question or just want to comment and talk about some things that you think are important, things I might have missed, leave a comment below. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate you being here. Be safe out there. I'll see y'all on the trail, y'all. Bye-bye.